Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Sorry for being late to the stream. I was kind of like arguing with my mom for a little bit. Like she was saying that I play too many games and I'm like, Mother, would you rather me go outside and do crimes or something? I could do that, you know? But no, it's all good. And yes, a recap. Well, we got to learn more about Viviana, who is wonderful. I love seeing all her family drama. It's entertaining, and she's having a nice internship as one of the Empress's voices, as one do. Federico actually made a friend, kind of. Baseline's a cool dude. I'm just a little bit peeved how I summoned him so many times I maxed him. And still, no Arturia. Arturia's playing hard to get. She's elusive as she be in the story, as one do. Sobs. But now it's Rhapsody longing. I am longing for Virtuosa. That is me. She'll be nice someday. And if that day's not today, it's okay. So far, I've summoned Viviana. Then I got Saga. And then I got Viviana again. Soon enough, she'll like me. Sorry, Frau Giallo. I made another mistake. Why did you stop? I don't think I played the last bar and the last line very well. Your heart is in the right place. Don't let yourself be bound by the melody. Instead, guide it with your will. I can't help but think about what I did wrong, though. Then don't hold yourself back. Music is the voice of your heart. It's a language to express yourself with. If you let yourself be caught up in the grammar before learning how to speak, then language itself loses all meaning. Ooh, hello. Your embarrassment, your self-doubt, and your thirst for the future, they're all real. So let them live in the sound of your instrument. But that's not what my arts professor said. Well, your arts professor knows nothing. He said that Originium Arts is a rigorous field of study, that it's about uncovering the order within chaos, like putting together a mess of unrelated notes to form a beautiful chord. But I'm having too many distracting thoughts, and my sound is all over the place. That's why I can't control the energy of my arts well. Honestly, that's a mood. I taught another student just like you before. He was reserved, shy, and not very good at expressing himself. What happened to him? He became a very brave man. A shame that he couldn't live the longer, more beautiful life I'd hope he would. But I was fortunate enough to hear his last performance. The cry of his instrument was hardly inferior to the famed musician with whom he shared a surname. Oh, was he a descendant of someone famous? Here comes Shorn. Have you heard of his work? Who did you just say? People often call him the Witch King. That Witch King? People hardly ever call him by name. Really? But to me, he was first and foremost a musician. Everyone says he stopped performing with regular instruments toward the end of his life. His music, no, you could hardly call that noise music. They say it stilled fear in anyone who heard it. True, his rhythm was in no way harmonious. Every last measure far exceeded what his audience imagined based on the previous one. But I never felt such a strong will. You really shouldn't talk about this on campus. I heard the Empress's voice and the Gendarmerie keep a close eye on Ludwig's Universitat. You'd be in deep trouble if they were to catch wind of it. You should return to your dorm. Keep practicing this piece. No matter what commotion you may hear outside, focus only on your own rhythm. Strange voice of a sculpture. Arturia. So it's you. If you're here to speak to me personally, then I take it the show is about to begin? Almost. Our guests are arriving as they should, one by one. Will you be performing everything that will happen today for me, just like you used to? I'd like to be present with when the melody begins. You wish to listen from the beginning to end? I'm afraid that would be a very long piece. A lot of people will be hurt today. Some will even die. They'll be sacrificed because of me, and I cannot allow myself to look away. Even though it hurts so much, you're far more determined than anyone. You, when my performance reaches the end of your life, what will I see? What will she see? Hi, Viviana. Ludwig's Universitat. I've seen the name in more than a few books I've read. Most recently, in a leading publication on Originium arts theory. But the name comes up as early as ancient scrolls engraved with secret arts. The crest of that university shines brilliantly in the history of Lithuanian's arts.
It's merely a variant of the Erdika family crest.
But it remains Lithuanian's oldest university. Once I used to fantasize about life on a campus like this. Walking through a campus covered with red leaves, surrounded by friends of similar ages, with an endless buffet of books and literature in the library. Every day must be fulfilling here. I cannot imagine that kind of life. Like, sure, university life, I kinda imagine, but red leaves, I don't really see that. Friends of similar ages, not so much either. An endless buffet of books and literature, okay, yeah, that I can see. Did I build Viviana yet? No, because I'm salty that I don't have Virtuosa yet. As much as I like Viviana, I want both already.
With Their Majesty's permission, you are free to enroll in any school in Lithuanian.
Oh? Have you noticed the eyes of the students walking around us? Their thirst for knowledge is enough for them to forget the divide between their upbringings. Yet before Kurfürst Ludwig chose to make his spire a university, all knowledge was locked away by decree. So, how can I bring myself to use that very same authority to pollute such unique purity once more? Casually taking a campus tour. The Gendarmerie?
Your so-called purity has never really existed.
Did you summon them here?
I wouldn't need to. The eyes up on the spires have never looked away from Lithuanian's lands, and especially not from here. Before you lies the oldest spire in the Erdika territory. The Witch King stayed in it for a decade and often returned even after his coronation. The campus may seem peaceful from the outside, but every centimeter of this place can be traced back to the Witch King. And that includes a man we're looking for.
Her Gerhard Hoffman?
9. We will find his teacher first. He's the one most familiar with Ludwig's Universitat. Since the era of the Witch King, no, since an even more distant past, he's never left the school's most ancient spire.
He lives on campus, okay. Oh, it's the boys. Why are there so many Gendarmeries and Gender armies on campus? Good question, little boy.
You said earlier that I was a wanted criminal.
Do you think they're here for you? No way. Besides, we've been very careful on the way. There's no way we got their attention. Quick, find a place to hide.
Team 5, Team 6, move up. Team 4, search the whole spire. Do not let any suspicious characters through.
I wonder if it's the same Gendarmerie guy who's a fan of the Candlenight.
Stop! You can't just run around and use arts like you own the place. This is a university. A lot of the research we do here requires a stable environment. Even the slightest disturbance could cause irreversible damage to the sophisticated equipment and the complicated arts that have been cast. Seize him! Why? I didn't break any laws. Your name. Louis Schnitzler. You haven't answered my question. The Schnitzlers of Fort's Guard. Take him to the classrooms. I don't understand. Keep searching. Take any commoners to the courtyard and lock the nobles in the classrooms. Take control of anyone and anything related to the House Urtica. I'm only a schnitzler by name. My father didn't even inherit the title. What gives you the right to do all this over something that happened decades ago? Because we're investigating what happened decades ago. Young her, Schnitzler. As long as you behave yourself, I assure you nothing will happen to you. My family will be participating in the celebration soon. I'm going to have an audience with their majesties. Ludwig's Universitat is the most historic university in Lithuanian. Not even the Kaiser Innen's armies dared damage a single brick on the spire 23 years ago. What gives you the right to trample on knowledge and the arts on Lithuanian's traditions? The Kaiser Innen's orders, young Herr. The culprit who murdered our commander is hiding in the school. If you want to protect it, then tell all your classmates that they better report anything they know about a strange Sancta and the Witch King's remains.
I wonder what's better, being locked in the classroom or being told to stay in the courtyard. The Kaiser Innen's orders? No way.
You seem surprised.
Surprised? No, I'm just an idiot. Given her personality and disposition, how could I have thought she'd keep herself at arm's length? I can't waste time chasing after Artoria anymore.
I thought she was a target of your mission too.
Only part of it. My client wants to understand the reasoning behind her actions in order to prevent her from getting in the way of our plans. But now there's a bigger problem. I can't let this ruin the plan itself.
I have no further questions. As you are Lithuanian, I will not be required to execute your will.
Forget it. Not like I was expecting anything resembling a goodbye from you. Her executor. The case Artoria is involved in is far more serious than you could ever imagine. Even your Pope has no right to interfere. Here's some advice. Abandon your mission before the Gendarmerie makes it here. Leave Schwillingstern.
I've completed my assessment. Abandoning this mission is not an option.
Good luck, my boy. Good luck, Federico. Ooh, hello, hello.
We've arrived, Jost. You'd best wait outside.
I sense no danger.
Don't move.
What?
You're blocking my pipe, yes. The one puffing out smoke to your left. If you move, I can't guarantee that your left hand will remain after the smoke ring passes.
That is some scary smoke. Where would I be? Probably in a secluded not really secluded. One of those buildings that people usually don't go to. That's where I usually hang out. Where there's like good Wi-Fi, an outlet, and a seat. And you know, bonus, if there's a vending machine nearby, I have to think about it. I'm like, would I prefer a vending machine or a like campus store? I prefer a vending machine just because vending machines are usually they operate 24/7-ish. Because sometimes when I walk up to them, they break it. I'm like, but why? You worked like for the person in front of me, so why? You use a smoking pipe as a wand?
This, a wand? Don't be ridiculous. I smoke to relax. Who'd want to think about serious matters while smoking? I simply wanted to run an experiment and see if this smoke ring could float all the way to the top of the Twin Sheep Spire. We're here because we have an important matter to discuss. Herr Fremont.
Ah, it's this guy. With the fancy gloves.
What a killjoy, Raynor. If only you were as well behaved as the lovely lady, the lovely little doe next to you.
I'd also be interested in seeing if a smoke ring could float for dozens of kilometers.
No, distance isn't the important factor. What matters is not being blinded by that uselessly shiny armor of yours. Alright, so you ruined my mood. Now tell me, was it the gloomy sheep or the boastful sheep that asked you to come find me? So you're telling me a copy of the golden Esgesatz was lost, the one stored in Sturmwind. Do we pay you to sit around all day? You are a Gesatz watcher, and you can't even keep an eye on the golden Gesatz, what good is that fancy getup of yours, other than being hung from the top of the spires as an ornament? Seriously, that Grimmacht, it's safer to keep it far away from the center of the whirlpool. Apparently, some of your idiocy rubbed off on her. Maybe the bigger your horns, the stupider you get. And don't get me started with that punk in Sturmwind. Honor his vow with his life, like hell he did. Kurfürst Werner is passed. Before you stand his daughter.
It's a pleasure.
My condolences, if you want them, but that doesn't change the fact that this whole farce is the height of absurdity, especially the fact that the Grimmacht waited until now to tell me.
Is this stolen Golden Gesatz really so special?
23 years ago, when Kurfürst Werner returned from Schullingsturm to Sturmland, he had it on his person. Aside from the Kaiserinnen and the Kurfürsten, no one wanted to be near it. My guess is that, like many of the arts devices from the heir of the Witch King, his art still remain in it.
Alrighty.
The Witch King's arts. The Witch King's arts! The entrance of Ludwig's Universitat has that fool's arts too. They could have all the armors lining the streets start breakdancing right this moment. But is there a point?
I want to see that. I want to see all the armors lining the streets start breakdancing.
Did Grimmax never mention it? Those are no normal, frivolous arts. They're arts devices that Herr Kampfschorn himself spent his life developing, all to defeat his greatest foe.
The Witch King's greatest foe? Do you mean Corsica the First of Gaul?
A mere emperor leading a mere army. Do you really think transient might like that would have meant a thing to Herr Kampfschorn in his heyday? The enemy he defeated all those years ago was the will of Lithuanian. The Golden Nesgesatz. Apparently, you aren't a complete moron. Ever since the birth of the Lithuanian Empire, the Golden Nesgesatz has changed only once. All on his own, Herr Kampfschorn issued a challenge to Lithuanian's forebearers, as well as to all the arts masters who put their energy into composing the Golden Nesgesatz.
And now we're skipping his history lesson. I have expected it to go even more monologuing, but no.
How do you feel? My head. It doesn't hurt as much anymore. I'm afraid normal healing arts won't help you very much. Your pain isn't caused by physical injuries. I know. There's an evil old fart shouting my ear off, that's all. You can actually hear him speak? Occasionally. Then must be unbearable, like his melodies. The Witch King's voice holds a power that is difficult to endure. If he wanted, he could kill a man simply by humming. You've met him? My teacher, Herr Fremont, was one of the Witch King's closest friend.
Ah, he was one of the Witch King's closest friends, huh? Fremont is very, very sassy, and they said that the Witch King had an attitude too, so I'm just imagining a bunch of like sassy old men hanging out together.
When he sat atop the Witch King's spire, there were once thousands of casters prostrating themselves before the steps up to the throne, and I was one of them. So you're also... Ugh! Is your head hurting again? Don't worry. I betrayed him in the end. I joined the resistance and charged into the spire under Grimmacht and Evigegenade's leadership. That day, the steps I once kneeled before were redder than even the leaves in the Ludwig's Universitat campus. It must have been a difficult battle. For every 10 companions I fought beside, only one survived. Every last one of us was among the most capable in the country. If they had been as fortunate as me, they would have gone on to become even more outstanding scholars, even greater casters.
Ooh, hello, how am I today? Not bad, not bad indeed.
No wonder you visited Forest Park that day. I should salute you and those who sacrifice their lives. Don't waste your strength. I'm not worth it. If it hurts, though, feel free to lean on me.
Aw, Gerhard is so nice.
Let him go. Blessing? I knew you'd come after us. Where's Professor Fremont? He is very disappointed in you. I'm sorry, Blessing. I don't want to hurt you, nor do I want to make an enemy of my dear teacher. Then why stop us? The Genesis Horn should not arrive like this. We're not pursuing any evil causes. We're simply retrieving what belongs to us and destroying what hinders us. You know that. The Witch King's relics. Who do they belong to, and who decides that? You're a smart fellow, Blessing, and an honest one. You should think about these things, lest you regret all this in 20 or 30 years. I see you as my favorite student, which is why I don't want to see you make the same mistakes. I once saw you as a dear mentor too. I still remember, you weren't even half as tall as you are now, and Professor Fremont handed that sword to you. Yet in the blink of an eye, you're as old as I was when I stormed the Witch King's spire.
Gerhard, how old are you? You don't look that old. You look... I think he aged amazingly then. Wow, amazing.
In school, time really does fly by, doesn't it?
Nah, in school, time does not fly by. Time feels so slow during classes.
My fear is that not enough time has passed. That I'm not strong or worthy enough to raise my sword for those I want to protect. I'm your target, remnant of the Witch King. And I have only one thing to say to you. Get out of my way. Classes are almost over. Come this way.
The students here look so deadpan. Then again, it's understandable, you know, being at school, I don't really imagine like, hee, happy faces. Everyone here is just like, yeah, we're at school, doing school stuff, school.
Mayor, what are you doing standing here? Not auditing any lectures today? Ahem, why are you holding a sword in the school building? You really love training, don't you? He chose his path on purpose. Have you heard? A large group of gendarmes barged into the school today. They're searching everyone they're coming across, especially commoners from the Urtica territory. Hold on. Why are you running so fast? Even up the stairs. The school administration doesn't allow that.
No running in the hallways. Yeah, this is probably the most, like, accurate depiction of students.
Are you okay? Why waste your strength on me? I'm much older than you. I should be the one protecting you. Well, I'm the one he's after. Besides, I don't want to see any more blood spilled on my account. Considering Lessing's abilities and temperament, he'll catch up to us soon. We need to take a safer route. Are we inside a school? Ludwig's you to first attack. You were one of the Urtica bloodline. If the Witch King hadn't fallen when you were born, you would have studied arts here. I'd really wish I weren't.
Regarding Fremont, you know, Fremont, he might be the kind of guy who he can probably get along with anyone as long as they can handle being roasted.
The Urticas have produced more than one Lithanian ruler, aside from Herkomshorn and the other Kaisers. Ludwig, known as a scholar, he was Kurfürst of Einwald, and he too almost became the Kaiser of Lithanian. And he was also your ancestor. He wanted everyone to gain the most supreme knowledge so that the land would never again impede Lithanian. When he insisted on opening up his family's spire to all of Einwald citizens, many thought he got mad. Mad? Heh, I suppose a lot of our family gets called that. Madness goes hand in hand with greatness. This has always been the way of House Urtica. Even the Witch King was a benevolent ruler of unsurpassed talent before he succumbed to his madness. Succumbing to madness has far more frightening connotations when it happens to a tyrant rather than a commoner. If that's another Urtica tradition, then I'll have to find somewhere to bleed out before it happens to me. From the moment I laid eyes on you, I saw the bravery in you, but your life is precious. A self-destruction has never been the only path open to you. Franz, may I call you Franz? You know the name I threw away? You won't ever be alone again. Let me help you.
Gerhard, why are you setting up some flags? Don't set up the death flags. Well, you know, maybe this time it'll be different. He'll be fine.
Gerhard Hoffman. Of all my students, he's the one who knows best what the Golden Nesgesatz really is. If only he were here, then I wouldn't need to waste my energy explaining all this.
How did you know our purpose here?
Purpose?
The Witch King's remains killed my father, as well as 2 more who participated in the coup 23 years ago. We suspect that their next target is Herr Hoffman.
Oh, you came at just the right time then. Just 15 minutes ago. Wait, what did you just say? Gerhard is involved with the Witch King's remains? The same remains that experimented on Herr Kampfschorn's great-grandson simply to blow up a dime a dozen music hall? I suppose so. They may not be the exact same group, but they're working under a similar banner. But how do you know so much about even the finest details of the Weisheim incident? This energy fluctuation, it's a sign that arts were cast to maintain structural integrity here. The same kind of arts used by Einwald's caster army. Don't mistake my arts for their child's play. Forget Einwald of today. Even when Herr Kampfschorn was still around, I was the one who taught all his lackeys their spatial arts. Stand back, Drost. Why are you reaching for your blade? Stay away from my instruments. It's been centuries since the spire was last repaired, and it can't withstand being knocked around. Herr Fremont. Is the experience you were just conducting related to the voice of mundane?
Maybe. Oh, I guess we're fighting in the spire. School fight. Okay, it's not bad. No fear. Yeah, no fear. Look at that dude just walking. Oh, never mind. He stopped. Let me set up my field. Yeah, not bad at all. And similar on the other side. Well, that's sad then if the Witch King was called crazy because he was actually being fair to people. Well, that'd be a shame. And let's see, how do I do this? Okay, over here seems good. Do I want to place anyone else down? Yes, I do. Right there. Okay, that works out nicely. What about you? Yeah, let's get rid of that one. Okay, let's do that, because why not? And yes, more fast-paced melody. I like it fast-paced. This will make farming way easier later, because everything will be speedy. Get out of here. All good.
Quick, upstairs! I heard from a student just now. The song that we're looking for is hiding there. A pipe organ. The entire spire is designed in the shape of an enormous pipe organ. It matches the distinguishing characteristics of the background sounds in the cello piece we heard earlier. There's a very high chance that the wanted criminal Artori is hiding here. Will you keep going up? Or genium arts that use sculptures to synchronize voices. The very same kind I heard at the site of the attack at Carl Schmidt Street. So you started working with the Witch King's remains after all, Artoria.
If I told you, I never cared who they were and had no interest in Athenians' political turmoil, would you believe me?
The resentment of individuals has never been a motive for your crimes, and I see power struggles and profit as even less likely candidates.
Oh, Federico, you really do know me better than anyone. Everyone else's minds are tainted with thoughts, while you, boring as you are, you and I are alike. All these years, I've walked amidst chaos simply to find an even stronger soul. This journey was no different. I simply accepted the invitation of a few Lathanian acquaintances. That's the only reason for my visit. Even without my assurances, you should already know in your heart that, no matter what becomes of Lathanian tomorrow, it will have no immediate effect on Laterano.
Perhaps.
Then, can I ask of you the same thing the Lupo boy did? That you ignore what you see here?
You're upstairs.
You guessed right. I suppose I could give you a reward and let you see me. How about this? Once my wish comes true, I will be waiting for you at the city gates on the day I leave Schulingstern. When the time comes, if you still want me to go back to Laterano with you, I promise you I'll think about it. She'll just think about it and not go through with it.
An arrest is not a request. You do not have the right to think about it.
My lovely baby brother, you really don't know when to give up.
Target spotted!
My target spotted!
It's a Sancta who was at the scene of Captain Borden's murder. Everyone, surround Sonata Spire immediately.
Sorry, Federico.
The suspect didn't stop. He ran upstairs. After him.
One floor after another, Lathanian spires are always so tall. There are more and more pursuers by the second. Shoes of various ages step on the stairs, each producing a different sound. The pipes that form the spire's walls are vibrating even more powerfully now. The sound of the organ and the footsteps blend together to form a unique piece, with the squads meandering up the spiral staircase as the performers. At the front, Federico maintains a steady pace through the entire process. Even his heart rate remains unchanged. His eyes do not see any of the pursuing soldiers. All he can see is a target before him. A decade has passed, but as though only a day has gone by, nothing has changed. The last floor. By leaping past the few dozen steps before him, he will reach his target.
Don't move! You Sancta. Don't tell me you can actually fly. Just how fast can you run? Good thing the students told me about another shortcut up here. I'm beat. I don't care how amazing you are. Even if you take another step, I'm taking you down.
So what will you do? Will you declare war on the Lathanian Gendarmerie? They too are enforcers of law, much like your countless co-workers at the Notarial Hall. However, unlike you, they hesitate before plunging themselves into battle. They feel fear. When you charge ahead in pursuit of your target with no regard for anything else, do you lay eyes on these ordinary men and women for even a moment?
What's that sound? Is somebody talking to you? Are they your buddy? You have friends here, don't you? Did you lure us into an ambush? She is not my friend.
But I am a fellow Sancta. We both have the same halos above our heads, and the same wings on our backs. We're even related by blood. How will you persuade them that you came all this way not to aid me, but to arrest me?
The misunderstandings of others have never been a reason to waver. My teammates will be here soon. You won't get away.
Surrender. Approach those who misunderstand you and end this pointless pursuit. Clearly explain your position and motives to them. And then accept the fact that you have failed once again.
You're right in front of me. I have unearthed evidence of your arts. Drop all your weapons. Back away from the talking sculpture. I ask that you please calm down. I am not your enemy. That's what all talking criminals say. I trust nothing but my eyes and my arts unit. You'll pay for what you did to Captain Borden, Sancta. I was not responsible for Loris Borden's death.
They're already under the thumb of their most irrational emotions.
Your music is affecting everyone in the area.
Is this really my doing? Perhaps this is what they've always wanted deep down? I told you long ago, much like our society, most people's minds are filled with chaos. You ignore this fact. The only thing on your mind is to sidestep the chaos and find the most efficient shortcut to resolving the issue at hand. Poor Federico. Have you still not noticed why you've never managed to catch me? Even though you pursued me all these years? How is a man who sealed off his own perceptions, unwilling to touch the chaos, supposed to reach chaos itself?
That doesn't concern me. And you are not chaos itself. You are a criminal and your actions beget chaos. Which is why you must be stopped. Like right now. I have you now, Artoria.
Federico raises his gun. The bullet pierces the speaking sculpture opposite him and continues in a straight path until it shatters the wall. The black-haired Sancta is standing on a balcony not far away, with her back facing the setting sun and a bow in her hand. She smiles faintly. Meanwhile, beam after beam of arts light finally reach the executor. I feel bad for whoever has to repair the spire afterwards.
What's going on? I saw a bunch of Ganimari surrounding Sonata Spire. Haven't you heard? It's a Witch King's remains. They're hiding among us in the school, researching arts used to hurt people. It's so scary. How come none of us ever noticed? I don't believe it. How can you be sure they aren't lying? Their Majesties have long seen the school as a thorn in their side. It's probably an excuse to destroy Ludwig's Universitat. How dare you doubt their Majesties? Oh, I get it. You're under the Witch King's remains. Influence yourself, aren't you? No, you might even be the one who led them here in the first place. You're one of them. How could you slander me like that? We've shared a room ever since we started school. I even took you to my family's villa by the lake every summer.
Dang, they were good friends, huh?
Ha! And how many of your family's fine possessions in that villa were rewards from the Witch King? Like that set of arts crystals in the basement used to observe catastrophes. They were refined from the ashes of the infected, weren't they?
In the basement?
What did you just defame me all you like? But don't you dare drag my grandmother into this. She was the greatest catastrophe scholar in Einwald, and she died for Lithuania on the northern Sturmland battlefield. My eyes, I'm reporting you and your family to the Ganimari and the Empress's voice. You wretched, Witch King's remnant! What does that make you? An idiot who crawled your way here by clutching the hems of the Twin Empress's dresses. If your family didn't so happen to have been on the right side, the lot of you would still be boatmen ferrying the nobles. What do you even know? Did you ever learn to truly respect knowledge? You don't even know which instruments to use for different occasions. Of course, I always knew you looked down on me. Come on, fight me!
Boy, stop it!
What are you doing protecting him, Mayor? Your family used to serve to the nobles too. Aren't you itching to take this chance to beat up these haughty snobs? The university forbids Originium arts duels between students. When a pack of wild beasts gains knowledge, that doesn't mean they become civilized. All they've learned is how to use it to hide their fangs. We should be ridding ourselves of these brutish rabble. They only tarnish the elegance and values of Ludwig's Universitat. Shut up. We worked for centuries to earn that right, for commoners and nobles to sit in one classroom together. Neither Ludwig's Universitat or society as a whole should regress. Out of the way, Mayor, but you're my enemy too. Ha, you aren't much better than him, Mayor. The old fart who raised you has been stinking up this place longer than anyone else, hasn't he? I heard he's lived for hundreds of years, and he keeps extending his life with the bones of the dead. Maybe he put you together from bones too. I've also heard rumors. They even say the twins were molded by Fremont with his witchcraft.
These boys, they really love their gossip, don't they? Just make up already.
Nonsense. Fremont and the Witch King were the best of friends. I bet he's the leader of the Witch King's remains. Both of you should get some rest.
His longsword, wrapped in cloth, blocks the arrows flying towards him from both sides. Lessing single-handedly stops both of them. He then lifts his head, finds even more beams of arts being flung toward one another. Firelight, ice crystals, strange energy balls, frenzied flower beds, and upside-down fountains. Every spell ever taught in lectures is now interwoven with one another, all at once. I want to see that. It looks cursed. What about Lessing? Well, he is loyal. He might be loyal to a fault, though. He likes Fremont. So, There's a thunderous rumble. A golem running around has knocked over a road sign. Ludwig's Universitat. The shining skull crest falls into a cloud of dust. Welp.
I'm really getting on in years. It's only been such a short distance, yet it feels as though I've climbed hundreds of steps. I think I heard the sounds of a fight above ground. Are the Witch King's remains fighting with those from the university? You're too weak. Leave the war to the others for now. But suppose this war started because of me. I have no reason to hide. You feel guilty, but it's only natural. Fate chose you over the others to live, and that is not necessarily a mercy. I know better than anyone how that feels. Have you experienced a similar suffering? I was gravely injured during the final battle and spent the better part of a year in a confused state. It was Professor Fremont who spent the time and effort to cure me. That day, when I finally woke up from my nightmare of being bound to those blood-red steps, the first thought that entered my mind was that my classmates, friends, and even my lover were all gone. In my despair, I climbed to the top of Sonata Spire, wishing to leap from it. He found me up there and I asked him, was everything I did for Lathanian truly meaningful? What happened next? Did you find the meaning you sought? He gave me a number of books on the Golden Nesgesats. He told me that whatever I can't answer my own questions, history can. So I started studying the Golden Nesgesats, how Lathanian came to be, and the direction it should go. I researched these topics for 20 years. And what answer did you come to? The problems facing Lathanian have always existed, ever since the birth of the Golden Nesgesats. The cultural differences between tribes, the rift between nobles and commoners, etc. All of these have existed for over 1,000 years. History has proven how difficult it is to change Lathanian, to give its citizens new lives, and to end the endless sacrifice. You must possess both absolute power and unbreakable resolve. Luckily, such power wasn't completely lost, and we're on our way to find it right now. So this power you speak of is hidden somewhere on this old campus? Ja. And by obtaining it, we'll be able to resolve the predicament before us, eliminate the threat of the Witch King's remains, and change my fate all at the same time? It was only my confidence in it that gave me the courage to go against my teacher. Come, Franz. It's right up ahead. 9. You again? Don't follow him any farther. You shouldn't go there. Come back with me. So you can strap me to a table again and make me a vessel for summoning the Witch King's legacy in your dreams. Let the dregs of the past be buried by time and vanish from Lathania entirely. They will. I'm doing what I can to ensure that happens. But before that, there's no before anything. I've thrown away even a guarantee from the Kaiser Innen. Do you really think I listened to the promises of a remnant of the Witch King? All I want is to obtain the Witch King's legacy. The people you're talking about, the ones who want to summon the Witch King, are my enemies too. Not this again. Is always denying your involvement really that fun for you people? Or are you fighting over who gets credit for what? Ought to crawl ever closer to that rotten throne. I'm sick of all this. Can't you pick some other trophy and stay away from me? The stairs beneath us are vanishing? The school is much older than you can imagine. Don't resist the power of history. Give up. No. Blessing. Not even you can fight a transforming staircase on your own. You only hurt yourself. Ugh, ah! Are you this cruel to yourself too? Look, I don't know what Gerhard told you, but don't listen to him. Rather than someone who claims to be grateful to the Witch King and wants to lock me away in a lab, I'd rather trust someone who once stood against the Witch King and saved my life.
I do not blame Ebonholz for this. I would hate being strapped to a table too like that.
The advent of the Genesis Horde is extremely unlikely to hurt you in any way. The old man and I triple-checked that. The process may be painful, but not unbearable.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I know there's no pain, no gain, but still, nah.
But you aren't me. What right do you have to make that decision for me? I don't. But everyone has a responsibility that only they can bear. Stop running away. If neither the voice of Mundane or the Urtica bloodline are things that you can change, then all you can do is accept them.
Nah.
Accept them? The ones who killed my parents and forced the voice of Mundane into me gave me the same excuse. The ones who almost turned me into a bomb to blow up a city, the ones who killed my brother, said nearly the same thing. Why do people always have these self-righteous justifications? Is that really enough for you to ignore all the screams you're creating? Ugh. Verdammt. Still not letting go, even after that blow. Are you really so eager to be torn to pieces by the ancient arts on these stairs? I'd rather die than see you fall into their hands. This has always been about more than just you, more than me as well. When Athenian's future is at stake, any sacrifices. Franz, come. We need to keep going. This energy enveloping me. Did you save me? I didn't do it to save you. I just can't stand people like you, obsessed with sacrificing themselves. Franz. Ebonholz. Don't walk right into a trap.
Let him do what he wants. Believe in the boy.
Come on, Franz.
So many candles.
What is this place? This is where the key I mentioned lies. The key capable of fundamentally changing Lithuanian. 1,000 years ago, sages from the various tribes came together and signed an alliance, witnessed by an all-powerful, immortal caster. This pact laid out the relationship between the tribes, established the Kurfürsten system, and set the foundation for Lithuanian morality and appreciation of the arts. You mean the Golden Neskasats? Ja. In the centuries that followed, the Golden Neskasats ensured Lithuanian stability. That is, until a century ago, when the Syracusans became the first to turn their backs on the Golden Neskasats and seek independence from Lithuanian. It was a bloody conflict lasting several years, with one part of the choir gone. The movement became destabilized, and many regions fell into chaos. Lithuanian was on the brink of collapse. In those dire circumstances, a man stepped forward. He realized that the Golden Neskasats had to be amended. Only by removing Syracusa from the score entirely could the reborn movement unite the 9 remaining regions. The Witch King. Correct, my child. What you see before you is the most mysterious chamber of Ludwig's Universitat, where the House Urtica's arts, circulated for centuries, are gathered, and where her Kumshoren rewrote the Golden Neskasats. Oh, back to the history lesson. I cannot agree to your methods. Even if I were willing to believe you that the Genesis Horde truly exists, it is incapable of descending upon Schulingstrom as it is now. Humph, this is exactly why I didn't bother notifying you people. The Gesatz Watcher, have heads even harder than their helmets. Your so-called safe and controllable plan to summon the Genesis Horn has already failed. The Witch King's remnants are hiding within the campus, and with all the relics of the Witch King stored here, they will bring forth a disaster of unprecedented scale. And for now, there's only one efficient means of stopping them. I refuse. We'll evacuate all the students of the university staff. Ludwig's Universität contains more value than just its students and instructors. I've had tenure here for centuries. Can you even imagine how many precious arts devices and enchantments there are here? I understand, but I ask that you please prioritize Athenian safety. Absolutely not. You say you understand, but that's far beyond your meager capabilities.
The old man's voice calms down. His habitual tongue lashing comes to a halt. As he stares at the man in front of him, the shadow of his skinny body on the wall suddenly grows very tall, like a spire covered in vines.
These spires are not for you to meddle with. If you dare suggest destroying them again, I'll throw all of you out at once.
Something isn't right. The sunset outside the window disappeared.
The sun's not the only thing that's gone. Ugh. How very brave of you.
Shadow clones!
However, don't even try to touch my shadow again, unless you wish to be dissolved by it.
Oh no, he's probably gonna be the final boss. Just based on that ability. Her Fremont's shadow. It's fractured into innumerable silk strings.
Drost, lower your arts. Do not probe those shadows. His true form is hidden inside. You're not yet strong enough to stare directly into his soul. Oh, so you figured out who I am? Then you must also know that no one who's been thrown outside by me has ever managed to climb back alive. If you're brave enough, feel free to see for yourself. There is nothing out there whatsoever. I assure you that were you to leap outside, you wouldn't even have time to scream. Your mouth's vocal cords and limbs would all perish in the darkness.
I've never even heard of arts like these.
Exile. I've heard it spoken in the legends, but was never sure how much truth there was to it until today. You've been hiding in Athenian for so long now. Why choose now to reveal your identity? Her lich.
A lich? You mean her Fremont is a sarcas?
Ho, a sarcas. Aside from the immortal bastards of the royal court, very few these days have been able to deduce my identity. You say I've been hiding. That's a good way to put it, little lamb. When you put it like that, I've stayed in this country far, far too long. Haven't I? I never meant to hide my true identity. It's only that I've grown used to being cooped up in this spire, with my head buried in the literature here. It's you people who forgot who I was. And all of you keep bothering me with Athenian's messes. Sometimes it's the wolves bickering with the lambs. Other times it's two deer locking antlers. Haven't you wasted enough of my time? Now scram, and tell Grimlock that I don't care anymore. Once I've recovered what I loaned from the Genesis Horn, the liches will be gone from Athenian for good. And if it's not too much to ask, get the hell out of here, and never set foot in my holy temple again. The Genesis Horn cannot be allowed to descend. Did you not understand a word of what I just said? I am no match for you, but that doesn't mean Athenian's Geslat's Watcher will give up so easily. And what about you, my lovely doe? Do you also seek death? Let her leave.
Her Fremont? Surely, there is still room to negotiate?
You can stop trying.
It's you.
Hello, Drost. 9. I should call you Frau Hochberg.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Michael, the personal envoy of Her Majesty Grimlock. So you're another Empress's voice? I am not. An Empress's voice serves both Kaiserinnen at once, while I belong only to Grimlock. Can I take that to mean that we're enemies? The last time we met, I already told you that we might walk different paths.
What are you dawdling around here for? Wolf cub, hurry up and throw them out of here. Right away. Herr Reiner, Frau Hochberg, these are Grimmack's orders. I am to assist Herr Fremont and ensure that the Genesis Horn makes its advent on Schwillingsturm. But why? First, because this was Grimmack's promise to Herr Fremont. As a show of gratitude to the Lich's contribution to Lathanien over the past millennium, and to foster a continued long-lasting friendship, we will help Herr Fremont retrieve what once belonged to him.
Wow, that's actually kind of nice of her. It's like, okay, for the power of friendship. Oh no, they have the power of friendship on their side. That just means they're gonna be extra powerful.
Second, if there's anyone who has the right to use the Genesis Horn, it can only be my liege.
Your liege? Singular.
Don't let him get to you, Drost. It doesn't matter if it was Grimmack or Evigeganade who wished for this. There's no reason for you to get involved. House Hochberg has already sacrificed too much for the conflict between the Witch King and the Twin Empresses, and for the Golden Neskasats. I will see you out of here safely, even if I must put my life on the line. What's going on? Why is the spire shaking?
It's not the spire that's shaking. It's the ground beneath us. The shadow is fracturing. Something is trying to make its way through.
Is there something underneath the campus's plate? House Urtica's secret chamber. Those stupid sheep barged into my underground space. Fremont, you fool! You've been Lathanien for far too long. You've contracted the stupidity of these big-horned sheep.
Well, at least he's calling himself the fool.
Thank goodness, the legends are true. The old man was telling the truth. All these enchantments and the arts devices, every last one perfectly preserved. This is living history. Not even the greatest history books were able to go into such fine detail about this situation. Wait, this is...
A silhouette emerges from the darkness, followed by another and another. Their robes, hoods, and masks have not changed at all in the past 20 years. A silhouette he could not be more familiar with emerges from the nightmare that's plagued him for his entire life, and steps right in front of him. Ooh, hello, hello.
Welcome back to your territory, Graf Urtica. Professor Hoffman! What is it, Franz? Look what I just found. This is an art scroll that's been missing for ages. And this, it can't possibly be the brass instrument used by Herr Kampfschorn himself, can it? These are treasures here. There are treasures here far more valuable than I ever imagined. My head, it hurts. Verdammt! Why now of all times, when it's the most dangerous? No, I can't fall here. Professor Hoffman, please go. I'll protect you. Franz, what in blazes are you talking about? Blessing was right. I can't keep running away. All this time, there's always been someone protecting me. All the people by my side. First it was that lady, then the respectable Gendarmerie, then her attorney, and him. All of them, more willing to sacrifice themselves than I. But this time, I'll do it. I'll kill myself here. I still have the voice of mundane they love so much. That should be more than enough to blow this chamber of evil to smithereens. Grab what you want, while you still can. Go, hurry. It's time you got some rest, you silly child. What did you say? My life's work is about to be realized. But how am I supposed to accomplish all this without you?
Good night. This is the second time. Someone holds a brass instrument up high and violently strikes his head. Graf Urtica. Many years ago, he woke up to find himself shackled to that chair. In the 10 years since, he was granted his name. He never wanted the title of Graf, and he despised the name Urtica more than anything. Even the name Franz, an old-fashioned name used by countless noble children, is something he has always loathed. In that spire standing tall in the center of the Urtica Grafschaft, he tried to escape the chair again and again. After all, it was never him that the nobles reporting on the affairs of the Grafschaft truly cared about. They knew each other well, which is why the guards only ever came early in the day to drag him from the curtains to the chair. After a long time, he would finally be allowed to roam the spire aimlessly. Not even the guards noticed him then, until the next morning arrived. The days went by in that vicious cycle. If he hadn't tried to run even farther afield, hadn't thought about the other person suffering in a similar fate, hadn't tried to resist, and hadn't been shown any hope whatsoever, then perhaps he would have been bound to that chair his entire life. But then, today, he finds himself caught once again, and behind him is yet another familiar chair. Its shadow is simple, elegant, and entwined with thorns. At a single glance, it feels as if his eyes, brain, and heart have been pierced with intense pain. Even the cheers around him are similar. It's just that, this time, they call him Witch King. Boy gained a new title. It's like, stop comparing me to my dad, is probably what he's thinking. Sonata Autumn? Okay, that stage does not look scary at all.
This be fine.
Kinda, sorta. A standoff. It was meant to be a sudden assault. The casters of cries, held in short, would disguise themselves as musicians and infiltrate the Witch King's spire, while the armies from Erdenher and Sturmland would stay hidden outside through their enchantments. No one dared underestimate the Witch King's power, but the battle was nonetheless harder than anyone could have imagined. The army outside the spire was discovered by the Einwald Imperial Guard. The first wave of casters all died at its base, while the second wave was swallowed by the endless staircase. The only ones who made it to the throne were the twins, Grimmacht and her sister, Evigegnade. Black and red have always been the Erdica colors, but from the entrance to its deepest innards, the spire was almost completely void of black tiles. House Erdica's secret chamber lies underground, and it's very close to Sonata's spire, so we can make our way down through it. Her Fremont has already left, and we must catch up. Was Gerhard acting? Nah, he was just doing what he wants. Clearly, he just wants to see history. He's a history buff.
9.
Is something the matter?
Go no further. The Witch King's Imperial Guard is here. You will die.
The Imperial Guard? What do you mean?
The folks from Heldenshort were never expected you people to win. They simply wanted the Sturmland armies to keep the Imperial Guard at bay while the twins climbed the spire. In their plans, all of you were meant to die, the Witch King, the twins, everyone. Tell your father and Ernst that the Hochbergs should not be buried here, not in the spire.
Her Rainer, my father is dead.
I'm the reason you're the only survivor. I'm the one who took away your freedom.
Please look at me. I'm Viviana. Did you perhaps mistake me for my father? Dang! Her father must have been beautiful.
Leave now. Leave Ludwig's Universität. Grimmacht's envoy has passed on the Kaiserinnen's order. As an Empress's voice, you have more than enough grounds to terminate your mission. And to prevent the voices from going out of sync, Evigegnade won't punish you for it either.
Do you hear the commotion around us?
It sounds familiar. This is practically a battlefield. My duties prevent me from escorting you out, but I can at least use my melody to forge a path through the chaos for you.
9. I will never forget how quiet and peaceful it was when we entered the campus. The young students' faces still had hope for what was to come. The young students' faces had hope? What hope? They all look so deadpan to me. They look like legit university students. I can't let them become sacrifices to this conflict. While I'm nowhere near as strong as you or her Fremont, I'd like to help as many of those weaker than me as I can. Viviana, you are plenty strong. You are the Candle Knight.
Her Kampfschorn's secrets lies ahead. A Vigeganade said that when Das Kaiser Innenfest comes to an end, you have another chance to choose. But once you've gazed upon the country's darkest, most hidden secret, all your other choices will immediately evaporate.
I expected as much. But while I long for freedom, I can't very well turn my back on people suffering right in front of me. Ironic, isn't it?
You're just like your father.
Yeah, I know. I've always known the kind of man he was. What's going on? Why are there so many people underground?
They charge inside. It's not just Sonata Spire either. The Scholar Spire next door too. There are students everywhere.
Stop them all! Don't let them block the stairs, or we can't chase. Who did that?
No idea. There's too much going on. I can't make anything out.
Witch King's remnants? Listen. Listen to the extreme chaos, as well as to the only melody that can be found within it. That is her Kampfschorn sigh, the final sound our king left upon this land.
Viviana's just being humble here, like she is crazy powerful.
The Supreme Spire, whose dark shadow on the ground causes all to shudder. Those who do not wish to be engulfed in darkness, paddle their arms and climb the staircases leading up. The pitch black will hangs over the throne in silence, awaiting inquiries from other souls. Those who hide behind the curtains regret the demise of love. Those who lead the charge in others' stead ponder the meaning of heroism. Those who wade through the sea of their fallen comrades' blood lament the price of their sacrifice. All of them now gather at the far ends of this spiral staircase to witness the birth of this melody. Its name, Der Tod des Hexenkönigs.
Arturia's about to turn this into a mosh pit.
It's the Witch King's army. They're charging toward me. Casters pouring in through catastrophes, originating and piercing entire cities. Help. I don't want to die, but I might as well. Please burn me to ashes. I don't want to be crumpled into a living ball of flesh. How could you set yourself ablaze, you idiot? 9. Everyone here has gone mad. The sound, the pipe organ. Are the Witch King's remnants performing? All of us are under the influence of their illusions. Who's there on the podium? All this blood, all these corpses? But who is lying in the blood? Grimmocked. Evie Geganade.
It's you, the wicked twins. The rumors were true, weren't they? Your souls were cooked up by the Sarkis arts, and your blood molded from the ambitions of traitors. You killed Lithanian's true king and took over her throne. You two were born to destroy this country.
You're wrong. Grimmock may be cruel, but she's not evil.
And who are you, another empress's voice, a puppet carrying out the twins' will?
9. She wouldn't let me become one. But I'm alive because of Grimmock. I want to help her. I want to.
Anyone who accepts a monster's reward becomes a monster themselves. Look at all this. Look at how far Lithanian has fallen because of you people. This spire, this school. Did you keep Ludwig's Universität around only to impersonate us true Lithanians? To pretend you still have the decency to respect tradition? I've had enough. I'm sick of the Empress's voice showing up at her lectures. I'm sick of the salons incapable of anything other than but empty praise. Our history, our knowledge, and our arts are all long dead, murdered. So we may as well die together. I'll kill all of you.
Ugh! What are these arts? Why can't I block them? No, Is that a fist?
Michael's eyes suddenly widen. More and more people rush towards Sonata Spire by the minute, joining the fray as the music continues. Many of them set down their wands, choosing instead of use of their fists, legs, and teeth. I was joking about it being a mosh pit, but... Oh, it really is a mosh pit now. Is this still the Lithanian he knows? All the rhetorical tricks and combat tactics he learned, even Originium arts, have lost their effectiveness. Aside from cowering under his shield, there is nothing he can do. Right now, he is no different from the young boy he was when he had just left his hometown and arrived in Schulingsturm.
Please, I beg you, Evigeganade, I'll do anything. Please spare me. No, don't hurt me. Grimmacht. Please stand. Who? Raise your shield and face it to your left. Okay. Help me hold this person up. Again, Darme? Who is he? I do not know his name, but he is one of Lord Borden's subordinates. He was attempting to blow my head up with arts. And you still saved him? Ugh! The third sculpture shattered. He was merely carrying out his duties. I see no reason to harm him. These men may be under the influence of arts, losing their reason to their most intense emotions buried deep within their hearts. Fighting them would be inefficient. I suggest instead quickly rendering them unconscious, as I have been doing.
Bonk them with the back of your shield.
So, this entire time, you've been knocking people out while making your way through the crowd? I have also attempted to place them in a corner to ensure that they won't be stepped on or struck in the melee.
I like how he did that.
Danke then, for not clubbing me the moment you saw me then. I do not require thanks. Micah Wolf. You may be young, but mentally you are much stronger than most adults. I believe that as long as someone is available to provide you a hint, you will never lose yourself to these illusions. That is not necessarily the case for everyone else. Although I have yet to receive confirmation. If it was Artoria's music that caused this chaos, then the abnormal behavior will continue until we end her performance.
I wonder what I would see if I heard Artoria's music. Would I see myself having amazing gacha luck?
I'll leave this place to you, Michael Wolf. Call me Michael. I must continue ascending, Michael.
Hey, girl.
The sound is very familiar. The staircase outside must be as chaotic as it was 23 years ago.
Panic, anxiety, fear, rage. All these emotions caused by that non-existent spire. The Genesis Spire standing at the heart of Lithanian. When its sound can once again be heard from far and wide. What sort of music will it finally have in store for us?
We'll find out soon enough. Oh, look at them being busy.
Here comes Shorn, our one and only king. Your magnificence props up the spire, and your radiance shrouds the land. Your soul shines eternal, and your arts will never fade. All of Lithanian's wisdom and elegance gather before you. Your luminance and greatness are the pillars of her success. Lift your heads, all ye who prostrate the land before him. Gaze upon our king's accomplishments, his glory. At last, the day has finally arrived. For 2 decades, I've dreamt of walking up those long stairs and standing before this very throne. Fortunately, fate provided me the enchantments you left on the golden Neskasats. Today, very soon, your final melody will be performed. Here comes Shorn, Lithania's most supreme ruler. Allow me to once again seek an audience. Allow me to seek your forgiveness. Good boy, Franz. I apologize. I had no choice but to knock you out. Does your head still hurt? I would have thought you'd have plenty of questions for me. Ha! Ja, that's the look. You're in pain, but unwilling to give in. Even lying in sludge, you'd still look upon your betters with scorn. My betters? All I see is a flock of madmen putting on a show. Your ramblings are even less worth listening to than the noise in my head. You believe us insane, and that we've mistaken you for the Witch King, and so we repent and kneel before you. What a shame. Even I'd hoped that you could truly become him. If only our original experiment had succeeded. If only we found the way to perform the voice of Mundane right from the start. Then neither you nor the other children would have suffered so. It was you? And to think I was going to protect you. Huh. You're coughing up blood. Spit. I almost wish my blood really were imbued with evil power. Then I could have at least burnt away that deceitful mask you're wearing. But I haven't told you a single lie. When we first met, you'd yet to learn to walk. All you could do was sit on your mother's lap. Was she also a remnant of the Witch King? Is that what you wanted to ask? Are you worried that your birth itself was some sort of evil ritual? 9. Quite the opposite, but you wish it were, don't you? You want your entire life to have been a conspiracy. Through and through. That way, you'd feel comfortable despising it. But that doesn't make sense, my dear Franz. Your mother was a respectable woman. She was a descendant of the Erdicas, part of the Witch King's bloodline. So to others, she was almost by definition one of his remnants. Before she died, she entrusted you to a friend, an old servant of the Witch King, and to protect you, he too was killed by the Empress's voice. Would you scorn them as well, even though they truly loved you? So after taking away my love, now you tell me I don't deserve to hate either. You want me to be nothing more than an empty husk, all the better to squeeze that old fart into me. Huh, just try. The Witch King's whispers, his robes, his crown, what else is there? Don't worry, my child. When Hercumshorn's power arrives, he will end your cruel fate and heal you of your scars and pain. I thought I told you to let him go. So you chased us after all. It must have been hard to make it past all the enchantments outside, no?
I want to see them try their hardest to make the Witch King come out, but then all of it's gonna be in vain. It'll be funny. And then Eben Holes just like spits on them like, ha! You thought I could become my dad? Nah, nah, nah. I am me.
This is my responsibility, and I don't give up. I'm surprised you were able to cleave through my defensive enchantments. I sharpen my sword with my arts every day. I make sure that it's as solid as my will. Your sword. It is a special enchantment that specifically targets traditional Athenian arts. Did the professor teach you that? Has he always been prepared to make an enemy of Athenian? The old man's never been one to pick his enemies, and neither do I. Our enemies crawl out of the shadows on their own. Just like you, Gerhard. I never expected to point my sword at someone who was once my ally. We don't have to be enemies, Lessing. The mayors have served the Erdicas for generations. As long as you're willing to stand on our side and help Franz, there will always be a place for you by the throne. The throne? All I see is a musty old chair. My grandfather, my parents, all of them have been held hostage by the chair for far too long. Why should I repeat the same mistake and bind myself to it again? Well said. Those unwilling to be bound by the past will always try to seek out a different fate. Like you and like me.
The concertmaster has started the performance. It's almost time. No one can stop the advent of Hercumshorn anymore. Ooh, even he gets a nice art.
But Hercumshorn isn't the one sitting on the throne. His name is Ebenholz. It's my duty to bring him back with me. As long as I live, nothing will stop me from reaching that battered chair. It doesn't matter how many men you have. Come at me.
Fight? Oh, not yet.
Gesselt's Watcher! The melody has begun. Not even you can stop its flow.
Perhaps not.
Your sword is... reverberating? It's useless, Gesselt's Watcher. You may have been able to chain down a single man's mind, but 100, 1,000, your melody would be drowned in chaos. Much like how the Gesselt's Watcher were unable to stop the melee at the foot of the Witch King's Spire 23 years ago.
If so, I will kill chaos itself.
His longsword pierces not his enemy's chest, but instead the ground beneath them. A golden radiance surges in the blade, drowning out even the Gesselt's Watcher's armor, then dashes toward the sky to form a webbing of the color of the setting sun, enveloping Sonata Spire within it. All sounds within reach of his arts are drowned out, leaving nothing but the solemn melody reverberating in the air. A golden curtain? Those arts should have at least taken... those arts should take at least 10 Gesselt's Watcher to cast. How did you manage it all on your own? Ugh.
Sir was just built different.
The harmony of the golden Gesessat, the golden Gesessats, is invaluable. Today, no one outside of Ludwig's Universitat will hear a single discordant note. I swear by my flesh, blood, and soul. Not a single remnant of the Witch King will leave the spire alive. You and your arts must be extinguished here. The melody's changed again. Gerhard. Took you long enough, Professor. I'm sure killing us Lethanian casters would be a simple matter for you. But as always, you're unwilling to dirty your own hands. How many times I have to tell you, us liches are just the keepers of the palace of knowledge. We bring our wisdom to different races to advance the development of arts, but we never interfere with a country's own affairs. That was the court of the Lich King's contract with your ancestors, and it is the Lich's creed. I understand all too well. A group of Sarkas living in Lethanian's most ancient spire, the seat of her power. No Lethanian would willingly accept that truth. I'm quite jealous of you, you know. Even against her Kampfschorn, all you did was provide the enchantment that molded those twins. You didn't need to bear the responsibility of changing history, nor did you stain your hands with the blood of your closest friend. I don't get what you're thinking at all. Years ago, you're the one who tried to convince me to stop her Kampfschorn, but now you're mingling with these third-rate wannabes. Ja, because I changed. And you're the one who changed me. You had me research the golden Nescassats and think on Lethanian's history, and I did exactly as you asked. But the deeper I got into my research, the more I despaired. Her Kampfschorn's accomplishments were simply too dazzling. He resolved the Syracusan problem and saved Lethanian when it was on the verge of breaking apart. He crushed Corsica the First, and prevented us from becoming a Gaulish vassal state. Only through his presence have we thwarted every existential threat to the country again and again. We had such a great man on the throne, and we killed him. When did I ever tell you to read up on how great her Kampfschorn was? Besides, what does his greatness have to do with him killing so many Sarkas and Lethanians alike, turning the country into a smoking hot mess and plugging his ears to anyone else's opinions? I had you study the Golden Nescassats because I wanted you to have a more open-minded outlook, not to pour over every trivial growing pain every nation goes through. Hardships happen, then everyone goes back to their lives. But somehow, you ended up caught up in this nonsense. How can you even consider this when so many have died? Because I can't see them, Professor. I'm not like you, a Sarkas with control over every death itself. Control over even death itself. When we die, that's it. We become a speck of dust on this land forever. The dead can never feel any hatred. All those years ago, I was the one who persuaded them to fight. I sent them to their deaths in the Witch King's Spire. If that battle had never happened, he wouldn't have died, and neither would they. You idiot. And that's why you want to resurrect him? You can't possibly think that when you do see him, he's going to praise you for this, or even comfort you. He wasn't some kindly old grandfather who sang nursery rhymes to dumb kids. He wouldn't even spare you a glance. He'd treat you as a speck of dust, dirtying his floor. Huh. You still understand the thing. A selfish and cowardly man like me. Everything I do to seek my own forgiveness. The thing you're holding, the missing golden Nesgesats? More precisely, it's the lingering trace of her Kampfstorn's power he left in the golden Nesgesats.
Gerhard, how did you get that?
You want to use his arts by force. Don't be stupid, Gerhard. You can't do it. I've come too far not to. I don't want to regret this a second time.
A flame rises, so black and so red that it seems drenched in blood. The walls of the chamber tremble violently. Originium crystals sprout and grow from every crevice behind the brick and tile, even piercing the ground's foundation.
Arg! Ibbenholes! Hurry! Gerhard's going to destroy this whole school. Witch King. The voice of Mundane. It's boiling in my head. It'll be free soon. That's not the voice of Mundane reacting. It's not? I don't know who first got it wrong, or maybe Gerhard has given up on summoning him through you entirely. But her Kampfstorn's power isn't originating from your mind. You aren't the key melody here.
So, I like how Gerhard's just doing the ultimate summoning ritual. He's like, I want to summon. I need the SSR. Rates up is a lie, so I'm gonna do whatever I can to summon correctly.
Arturia.
You're a little later than expected. Is it because you were helping the Gendarmerie? You've grown soft. What happened to the Executor who would stop at nothing to fulfill his mission?
The fourth sculpture. You aren't playing.
You must be shocked, aren't you? Like I've told you, you don't need to rush to find me. Until my real audience arrives, I'm just a listener myself.
You aren't the source of the illusions the men below are experiencing.
I'm a little hurt. We've been competing against each other for how long now? But you'll still confuse the truth. My music draws out with the illusions a conman would use. Besides, haven't you noticed? The people trapped in the spire have always hated each other. They've never stopped fighting. Isn't laying the blame for this chaos entirely on mind-affecting arts also a form of running away?
Bethanian's affairs are not within the purview of the Notarial Hall. My primary targets are limited to you and your accomplices. Who's manipulating the sculptures to protect you?
An avid listener of mine. You arrived a bit too late, just a little earlier, and you could also have had a front row seat to Der Tag des Hexenkönigs.
The fifth. Arturia. I'm well acquainted with every crime you've committed. Your arts have affected a variety of regions and social classes, but you have never actually participated in political conflict.
Do you remember my mother's funeral? How I freed the emotions everyone had hidden away in their hearts. It was the first time I realized how easily others fell into my melodies. But that brought me no joy. Quite the opposite. I was disappointed. Powerful emotions should give rise to more than just chaos. Emotions are meant to bolster our souls, to allow us to overcome any obstacle, even our predestined extinction, which is why I came here in my search.
The sixth. If you're looking to perform for the Witch King, then you will never succeed. He perished long ago. Your melody has no effect on the dead.
It would seem you're a little mistaken about this performance. The shadow over the throne was dispersed, and the twin heroes walked out of the spire to the adoration of the masses, while those who stayed put are still waist deep in the emotions they felt when they witnessed the mountain crumble before them. Der Tod des Hexenkönigs isn't about the Witch King. He was never the main character of this piece.
Okay, if he's not the main character... Oh!
What happened? Why are we here? My hand hurts. Why am I bleeding? The stairs are shaking. Is the spire coming down? What's with the black fire burning from the ground? Help! Help! These are her Kampfschorn's enchantments. You've all come to your senses. We need to get out of the spire now. Gugh. You're awake too? Candlelight. Candlelight?
Here, this way.
But the flames. The whole Sonata spire is enveloped by these black flames.
I'll open up a path.
With your candle's flame?
Pay attention to the shadow it casts on the wall.
Yeah, I believe in the Candle Knight.
The shadows tearing the black flames apart?
Ja, this is the true form of my arts. You must be disappointed. They're not nearly as beautiful as you thought, right?
No, my dame. This is stunning. You don't often see arts that can rival her Kampfschorn's undying black flames.
I can't defeat them, but as long as something truly exists, it casts a shadow. The most I can manage is to make use of this principle to ever so briefly create a chance to survive. Is something the matter?
I was just thinking that I was your enemy up until a moment ago, yet you aren't blaming me.
Why should I? You said you're not an Empress's voice, and I have yet to formally enter the Kaiserin spire myself. Here, you can just be you, and I can just be Viviana. We aren't carrying out the Kaiserin's orders. We're simply helping out the poor souls struggling in this music. So please take the students and make your way out as fast as you can, while they've recovered their mobility. I can still hold on a little longer.
I can see a golden light outside. The guest house watcher's curtain has already enveloped this place. He could destroy the spire at any moment.
I trust that Herr Reiner will make the appropriate decision.
What about you then?
My candle flame will extinguish sooner or later. Hopefully, it chooses the most meaningful moment to.
Oh, hello there.
How are the Knights of the Ark?
Well, very, very intense right now.
For Hochberg, Viviana!
Go, Michael. Please take care of yourself and these young students. Each of you has a future that someone like me could never dream of.
Aw, Viviana.
This is the place. Surround the spire. Cast her from the Kaiserin in spires.
Hey, it's Cora.
That's right, Brant.
Haven't I already said that?
These are the Kaiserin's orders. We are to assist you in resolving the problem here.
Good, use your arts. Join me as an accompaniment. I will tighten the curtain. No, Herr Reiner! Step aside, envoy of Grimmacht. Will you continue to stand in our way? Your earlier behavior alone is a reason enough to suspect you of colluding with the Witch King's remnants. There is still innocence inside. I see that the students have all been evacuated and Herr Fremont wouldn't die so easily. But the Sancta and Viviana...
Viviana is still inside?
She's trapped by the black flames and stayed behind to save me and the students. Brunt! This is our best chance to eliminate the threat. Once this sambo is complete, your strength will completely annihilate the spire. Viviana will perish too. It was her decision to enter the battlefield.
Werner gave his life for us. Werner gave his life for Lithuanian. We can't let this one and only daughter follow in his footsteps. You promised Werner that you'd save her. We both did. Have you forgotten your oath?
Have you forgotten your oath, Reiner? The Blade of Arts of the Gesatz Watcher only belong to the Golden Nesgesats and to Lithanian. It doesn't matter how Hercumshorin treats his subjects. He is Lithanian's rightful ruler, as recognized by the Golden Nesgesats. If you choose to fight alongside House Hochberg, you will be abandoning your duties as a Gesatz Watcher. One more step and you will be making an enemy of all of us.
Brant, why didn't you come save us?
We grew up together. We were like brothers. I know you loathe the Witch King too. You despise his tyranny over Sturmland's citizens, and you hate how he's turned our homeland into a battlefield and a testing ground. The Battle of the Four Emperors was years ago, and the skies above Sturmland are still filled with catastrophe clouds formed by Originium shards. Many of our children are doomed to be born with those accursed stones. Why can't we resist? Why can't we make him pay the price? Is it because the Golden Nesgesats dictates that he's the ruler, and that we are his attendants? 9. This isn't right for us to be born that way. If your power is merely dependent on some inviolable will, does it make your will, the Gesatz Watcher's will, fundamentally a lie? It's that lie that's forcing you to run away from your decision, as well as from your remorse toward the dead Hochbergs. Brant Reiner, make your decision now. Viviana.
His body wobbles once, almost unnoticeably. Then small cracks start appearing in the golden curtain. Resonance. At last, I got you.
The 7th. All the sculptures have been destroyed. You no longer have a means to resist.
Just a moment longer, my dear Federico. Do you hear that? Brant Reiner. His soul is finally opening up to my melody. Oh, he was the chosen one. His strong will has finally broken free of his restraints, and the surge of emotions will lead him to make the decision he will regret the least. This is what I've been waiting for. The truest climax of this piece. Oh no, he might be the final boss then. A melody, so impassioned that it approaches piercing, rings out from the strings of Arturio's cello. As though motivated by the music, black originium flames rise from the deepest depths of the earth and tear asunder the surface mere inches away. The Witch King's musicians standing guard at the foot of the spire all walk single file into the black flames, chanting even as they are incinerated to ash.
The very spire that holds up the skies, the inevitable, indispensable, and eternal pillar. Now rise!
Something bores out of the earth's flesh. It is a high spire. It bears a red tint to its blackness, a spiral shape, and a strange sharpness. The long-lost Witch King spire stands atop the land once more. Oh. Okay. And now we fight. This be fine enough?
Yes, fun enough indeed.
Okay, I am preparing myself, getting my setup nicely. Okay, this is good. Okay, yep, no worries. Let me just put my boy Silver Ash down now. Okay, this is set up nicely, so let's see. Who else do I want to put down? Well, of course, Chen is gonna be here. Actually, where do I want to place her? Maybe I place her here? Yeah, there looks good. And then I can put down... right over here.
Actually, no, silly me, right over here.
Oh, it's all so slow now. But it's okay.
Soon enough, things will speed up.
this be fine? Actually, no, let's make it fast already. I need speed. Speedy, speedy, speed. Fast pace is best. Oh, this is great. As soon as they're being summoned, they're basically going down. I love it. I feel so powerful. No one's really coming up from the top one for now.
Oh, spoke too soon.
Hey, this is fine. Go get him. Just a few more. Well, that's it pretty much. Done. GG easy.
What the hell is that? The Witch King's Spire? Is that the Witch King's Spire? The Witch King is back! The terrifying tyrant, the evil caster, he's back! Stop! Don't turn back, don't push!
Why would you even run? This is the punishment that the great Hercumstorn is laying down on us. Burn, burn. What are you doing? You're tracking the flames. It's all over anyway. Why bother lying to ourselves anymore, pretending to have dignity?
Put out the fire, put it out.
Information. No, it's coming this way. The entire school is. There's no stopping it. The black flames engulf everything in their wake. Laughter, sobbing, nothing is spared. As the sound of thunder rips through the air, the thick layers of clouds above descend lower and lower, almost becoming one with a strange spire before them. Some of the older students remembered the history books that they happened to have read deep inside the spire, the ones that went unburned. They said that during the battle of the Four Emperors, Hercumstorn brought an originium storm that ripped apart the skies above the battlefield, swallowing an entire Gaulish landship fleet at once. And now, at the very same location, there remains a terrifying rift deep in the catastrophe clouds, the screams of the sleepless dead reverberating within.
Her Gesset's Watcher, the curtain isn't going to hold. The students are all trying to escape. We can't stop them. Everyone has seen the spire. Sooner or later, the news will spread. Should we? 9. Lower the curtain. Concentrate all of your energy on dealing with the black flames. It's not working! This assault was more than enough to decimate a vanguard of Kashmirishan campaign knights. Hercumstorn's enchantments aren't so easily removed. As the legend goes, the way he used arts was fundamentally different from other casters. During the Battle of the Witch King's Spire years ago, only the Kaiserinnen were able to perform their melodies unimpeded. All other casters' arts failed. That spire. We must lay siege to it and take care of the problem at its source. Brunt, do you hear that? The lightning has stopped. She's here. We're saved. Everyone, defend.
Ooh, she's here. Who here? The clouds begin to crack. There is no sound, no shaking, and no omen of any kind. A bolt of purple-black lightning simply crashes down from high above. Likewise, it is not accompanied by any kind of flashy explosion or shocking roar. It merely pierces the spire's body and crushes a seemingly impenetrable tower, layer after layer, from top to bottom. By the time the first piece of falling rubble reaches the ground, the reborn Witch King's Spire has already ceased to be, as though it had never existed in the first place. Finally, the earth starts trembling, as though reacting to the spire's fall. Behind the wall of arts conjured by the Imperial casters, the crowd stands in terror with their eyes wide open. At the highest point of the ruins, they see a figure holding a sword emitting purple-black sparks of lightning. What a wild school day.
Hercumstorn's shadow will no longer be permitted to shroud Lithanian soil. Especially not that of a fake.
We're certainly dealing with a fake, but it's really quite remarkable how easily his expectations were shattered. A shame she's just like her blonde twin. Their souls were molded by the arts and enchantments, and I'm afraid there are few ripples that I can perform with.
It's over. What your plans were for the guest house watcher is now irrelevant. You failed.
Is that so? Federico, you are as impatient as ever. The climax of a piece is never its end. Artoria spreads her arms and falls backwards into the air behind the railing. Then, the remains of a sculpture lift her up, and she quickly rises even higher.
That is an interesting image to picture.
I'll be waiting for you at the end of the stairs.
Well, even if you break the statue, I guess it still can do some things.
What just happened? The chamber rose and then... I grabbed you and jumped. That's right, you jumped without hesitation, without even checking your poor old grandfather. There's no way anything would happen to you. You heartless little runt. Grimmox really didn't hold back with her sword. If I hadn't pulled you two out in time, you would have been buried in the dirt alongside all those masked men. What about Gerhard? Is he dead? He ran. But he won't get far. His body can't withstand her Kampfschorn's arts. He will collapse in no time, like an infected with rapidly deteriorating symptoms. Huff. Ha. So my body really cannot become the Genesis Horn vessel. The sound.
Hello, her scholar.
You were waiting for me?
Correct, I visited the school just for you. If you don't mind me asking, would you be willing to allow my melody to accompany you as you reach the end of your life?
Danke. To Lethanian, there is nothing more romantic than dying to the sound of beautiful music.
Good for you, Gerhard.
My only regret is that Grimmox came too soon, and I didn't get to meet her Kampfschorn. He didn't awaken, and there was no one to answer my question. If he was truly so great, then why? Why was he killed by mere men like us? And why must I carry the burden of that decision?
In the end, you remain tormented by regret. But her scholar, you have never truly been free. Why must you feel regret over past decisions?
I'm not free?
Your tattered, weary heart is now laid bare before me. I can feel everything you feel. On the night of the Battle of the Spire, your heart was filled with spite toward the tyrant. But aside from that, there was also doubt.
Of course, the man I was about to kill, or Kampfschorn, was the rightful ruler of Lethanian.
Then, who planted the seeds of that emotion?
You mean, what influenced me to think that? Are you implying that someone was telling me to look up to Lethanian's king?
I've visited many places and collected a variety of music. I found that although each of them has a unique style, they all share some commonalities in their origin, and that Lethanian's in particular is the most classical of them all. This country was born from a movement, a melody blending together 10 tribes with different cultures. When language proves to be a barrier, music is the only means to communicate. But why is that? Why would different wills produce similar experiences from the same melody? Is there some kind of power binding both you and us?
Right. Why do conflict and crisis always repeat in a spiral? Why is it so hard to change Lethanian? I know! Your music is telling me that I've always known. It's just that power. It keeps me from finding it. The answer is in my hands. My teacher never lied to me. The golden melody. Lethanian's will. All of us Lethanians are trapped. So it's true. I've never really had a choice. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. Thank goodness.
Goodbye, Gerhard.
The scholar realizes that he is once again standing on the highest point of Ludwig's Universitat. This is the first time in 23 years that he's earnestly gazed at the sunset outside. The clouds are fluffy, although they're completely soaked in blood, they yet maintain their original shapes. This is Lathanian's evening glow. Gerhard Hoffman notices that his body and the golden Nesgesats have fallen together on the spiral staircase, while his consciousness drifts out the window with the melody and dissolves into the clouds. He has never felt so free. Stay quiet for a moment. I want to let his emotions linger at my fingertips for a little longer. I've heard that you call yourself an executioner. You've witnessed so many deaths, but have you ever truly touched the last bout of emotion that bursts forth at their final moments?
An executor is more concerned with the deceased's last testament.
You make the living believe that their wills will be carried out even after death, while I allow their most splendid emotions to live on in music. Both of us substantiate the meaning of having lived. We go on about it in different ways.
I'm here to execute my mission and nothing more. I have no need to listen to a sinner's sophistry.
We're family, and haven't seen each other for so long. Can't you at least hold a proper conversation, Federico? Who's to say that I won't die tomorrow?
You intentionally put yourself in danger. It would not be entirely surprising if you did.
I wouldn't find it surprising either. We're all bound to die when we do. Our bodies give nutrients back to the land and become a part of new life. This is the meaning of our flesh. It's a circle of life.
Ah, yes, the circle of life.
But what about the meaning of our wills? When our consciousness fades, they will return to chaos. So what separates the living from the dead, one person from another, and us from the sunset and the breeze?
For Gerhard's end, I feel like his end was the only technically happy one when it comes to Arturia's music affecting him. Because only at the end, she played a tune for him. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm happy now. Well, the others, they just rushed into, like, craziness.
It's our emotions, Federico. If there is meaning to our lives outside our bodies, if there truly is something that can resist the destined chaos, then it is only this very moment, all that I feel, and the melody transmuted from those feelings. And that's why, as long as I still breathe, I can't stop playing.
I'm required to apprehend wanted criminals, but if necessary, I can also pull the trigger.
Oh, I don't doubt that. It will happen one day, and there's no doubt that it will be Federico Giallo who kills Arturia Giallo. But do you think that daylight can kill the dark night, order can kill chaos, and reason can kill emotion?
Laying metaphors cannot cover up the essential truth. You are a criminal, and I'm an executor. I pursue you in order to fulfill the contract that is my duty.
You believe uncertainty to be a kind of emotion. That's why you're always seeking answers through rational analysis. But it's not your rationality that's led you to me again and again. It's your confusion. You saw and heard it yourself. Today, countless lives were lost in chaos. If only you'd followed my advice and given up on me, instead lending your aid to the envoy of the Empress, with your skills and how sharp you are, you could have easily found the one hiding in the shadows, manipulating the chaos. But again and again, you choose to prioritize looking for me.
You are where my duty lies. I will not regret my decision.
I know you won't. But look, now you've caught me. So, satisfy my curiosity, Federico. Do you feel no satisfaction right this very moment?
Caesar!
So you people came too?
Recover the golden Nesgesats as well. Arturia is my target. Per Federico Giallo, executor of the Lateran Curia's Fifth Tribunal. It's extremely likely that the sancta before you has committed what amounts to the highest offense in Lithuanian. She must come with us for our investigation. I thought the Gendarmerie was in charge of the upcoming inquest. It is the Kaiserman's order to take Artoria. Does that mean you cannot guarantee Artoria will be dealt with according to the law? As I said, these are the Kaiserman's orders. I have sent a total of 27 explanatory letters, in addition to repeating my mission objective to the now deceased officer in charge, Loris Borden. In that case, Frau Jonas, would it be possible for her executor to participate in Artoria's interrogation? That's not part of my orders. To Lithuanian, Artoria is the most dangerous criminal. No one is allowed to anywhere near her without Her Majesty's explicit permission. Then that includes you. What? Let's go. Will we meet again, Federico, before my consciousness fades away? Bye. Jonas. They call her the cruelest executor in Grimmock's Spire. How did she get here so fast? Did Grimmock... I'll talk to her, Her executor. Don't you want to chase after them? If Lithuanian can ensure that Artoria will never commit a crime again, my highest priority mission objective will be considered complete. However, as she said, I feel no satisfaction in this.
Just keep on walking. It has become much quieter outside the spire, yet the black flames continue to burn. Viviana has forgotten which floor of the spire she is on. The spiral stairs all look the same. Her candlelight flickers a few times before finally going out.
Frau Drost?
Him? Why are you still here?
I'm in pretty bad shape. At least, this way I won't be a bother to the kids.
You were burned by the black flames. Half of your body is.
It's fine. I'm glad I got to see you again. By seeing you, I can at least confirm that I haven't turned into some kind of monster that walks even in death. The disaster's been averted, right? The Empress's voice, the Guesthouse Watcher, they're all here, right? Are the Witch King's remains all dead and the students safe?
I suppose so.
Strange. I saw the captain just now.
Her Loris Borden?
He said I did pretty well, and did the Gendarmerie proud. Once the ceremony's over, my mother will get the Kaiserman's black gold medal.
But that's only for those who've fallen.
It's hopeless for me, right?
I don't want to lie to you.
Mind Dame, when I see you looking at me like that, it doesn't hurt so much anymore. Your candlelight is so warm. When I first got to Schullingsturm, I nearly gave up. I couldn't keep up with how exhausting the training was, day after day. Only when I saw that tiny light you held in the arena, lighting up every one of my...
He did not deserve to fall into eternal slumber on those spiral stairs. If he could have just a little more light, a little more warmth. Viviana knows that she is not a lighthouse, but she is capable of that much. Aw. Yeah, goodbye, Pim. Goodbye. May this candlelight accompany you as you drift into eternal slumber. Though his end, at least he ended after seeing his Oshi one last time, his idol. Sorry, my dude.
Grimmock's envoy said that she's just up ahead. Step aside, Cora. Let me take care of the rubble here first.
Let me do it. You've already... Wait, these footsteps. Viviana! Frau Lovenstein, Herr Reiner.
Good.
Mine her? Let him get some rest. Raising the curtain by force took a toll on his body. But he's still standing. He'd never let himself collapse in front of so many. Brant's really worn himself out all these years. Before the battle, he saw me as my father. That's always weighed heavily on his mind. 23 years ago, House Hochberg suffered great losses at the Witch King's Spire, and because of his position as the Guestless Watcher, Brant wasn't able to come to their aid in time. Because of that, Ernst, his closest friend and the heir to the Hochbergs, perished in battle. That's also why your father Werner had to succeed him as Kurfürst. The remorse he felt towards Ernst and Werner has been eating away at his soul all this time, and today, when forced to choose between destroying Sonata Spire and saving you, he chose you. I never imagined. I knew he'd make that choice. I had done the same. I was so scared back there. I'm prepared to make any sacrifice if necessary. But you, not you. I'm glad we didn't lose you. I'm one of the lucky ones. On my way here, I came across many who's passed away. I did my best, but I wasn't able to rescue everyone. The casters will figure out how to eliminate the black flames. The victims will be taken care of. Things will get better. They won't have suffered for nothing. This place will be completely different tomorrow. I'll make sure you get to see that for yourself, Viviana. I promise.
I believe in you, Cora.
What a beautiful sunrise.
Barrier. We know a thing or two about your arts, mine dame. Now neither you nor your cello are capable of making a sound.
Silent humming.
She was prepared.
You made up your mind. The voice of mundane. I've been dying to have someone take it away. If you've no plan to use it as a bomb, then be my guest. So you finally believe me? I admit I owe you an apology and a word of thanks. If it wasn't for you, then I might not be Ebonhose right now, but some other thing. But please, spare me all this nonsense about trust or what have you. I'd rather not see you pounce on me and knock me out with your sword the moment I spit out the words, I trust you. I wasn't planning to, for now. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, for now. Keywords.
Someone's playing the cello. They're mourning the victims with music. It was just like this when I first met Gerhard. He told me that, through music, the wills of the dead are carried on through us. He was so quiet and gentle. I really thought he was. I'm an idiot, aren't I? I couldn't even see through their masks. I couldn't even see who was controlling my life. How I wish I could be more like... No matter how many obstacles he encountered, he never lost hope. He even smiled as he... This piece... What's wrong? Who's playing the cello up there? The dormitory isn't far. Maybe a student? That's impossible. Calm down. We can't expose ourselves yet. It's exactly the same. How could it be exactly the same?
Who could it be? The sky is blue and fine. The breeze lilts by in song. The river murmurs clear. My heart is filled with hope.
Where did you learn to play like that?
Huh? I'm nothing special, really.
Not your technique, you fool. Your emotions. Where did you learn to play this cello piece almost exactly like he did? No one else played like him. I checked over and over after he died. I've been to so many places and listened to even more musicians play the same piece. Who was your teacher?
Artoria. My teacher's name is Artoria.
Is she a sancta? A sancta with very long hair who dresses plainly.
I wouldn't say plainly. She looks fine to me.
Do you know her too? I saw her just today. She told me to keep practicing here without worrying about the sounds outside.
Without worrying about the sounds? But Sancta, is she a remnant of the Witch King too?
No, that's impossible. She's very kind.
Where is she? I need to see her. I need to question her myself. Ugh. Another headache. Did you know, Lessing, he and I, everything in our lives is given to us by others. Our pain, our joy, our despair. So if even our hope. I don't know if I actually want that answer. Oh, back to them. Have you thought it through? Ho ho! What does you think about? The school was burnt down by Her Cumshorn's embers. I could miss it all I want, but I wouldn't bring it back. I've forgotten. How long have I been in Lithanian? 500 years? Longer? When I first got here, there was nothing. No nomadic cities, no spires, no nobles. Ha! Back then, everyone lived in the forest by the lakes. They lit fires to eat, and used rocks to shelter from the wind. To us, a few decades are more than enough for a city to rise and fall, a man to go from young to old, or a pair of close companions to have a falling out and go their separate ways. That's right, it's but an instant since this place went from Vedunian to Schwillingsterm. I wonder what the city will be called next. And when the lamb with the rotten luck and a brain full of nothing but melodies is taken care of, I'll fulfill my promise to you. After that, I think I'll take a stroll around town. And once that's done, we'll leave. Tell the nobles they can have a good night's sleep for once. I've already explained it to them long ago. Explain what? The liches aren't like vampires and don't get involved with military commission business, so they can rest easy that this place won't be the next Londinium. Do you really believe they simply don't understand Grimoct? And are you really so whimsically unaware of who stands behind those nobles that want to chase the liches out? You two can deal with the fallout afterwards. The liches have indeed stayed here for far too long. Knowledge should never have taken the side of any nation or race. Do you even know how many Lithanian terms our brats use in their writing these days? It's absolutely outrageous. We should have left when Her Cumshorn bought the farm. This is just a belated farewell.
The white-haired lich lifts his hand. As though having been granted permission, a large number of slender silhouettes appear beneath the setting sun. Perhaps they've been standing there the whole time. They were simply masquerading as ordinary students and faculty. However, from this moment onwards, they're no longer concerned with how different they are from the other Lithanians. The liches all raise their hands. Countless paper-thin strands of silk extend from their bodies and into the dark clouds up above. Oh, they're like spiders! Those spiders that make their little silk parachute thingies to fly off. Then a radiance like starlight comes falling down. Looking up, many of the students see the sunset, the night, and the sunrise all at once. Within that brimming radiance, the dark flames and the earth are extinguished without a sound. Not long after, the silk-threaded shadows also disappear into the dreamlike rain. Ever since, no more trace of the liches could be found in Lithanian spires.
And off he goes to his next adventure as one do. Okay, last one for the night. Intermezzo, unfinished fugue? This unfinished fugue has no ending, just as the dark conspiracies have not reached their conclusion. Okay, we're back here.
The rising of Erdika's secret chamber destroyed the original plate of Ludwig's Universitat. Coupled with the influence of Her Cumshorn's arts, the school can no longer function normally. Does that mean school's cancelled? For now, the Empress's voice has taken over the cleanup operation from the Gendarmerie. Unaffected students and faculty have been relocated to neighboring Ostendorf. dwarf off. The cleanup will take about a week. Thereafter, they will be able to return to campus.
Oh, just a week off of school, I guess.
No need. Ludwig's Universitat's library will be relocated to Neo-Leopoldhof and fall under the purview of Rijksmuseum. The other campuses and faculties will be merged into Rijkskunstakademie in Bischof. The Gesellschaftswatcher will be in charge of disposing all the remaining plates belonging to Erdika. But then, Ludwig's Universitat will...
Ludwig's Universitat will become history.
Your Majesty,
Are you surprised?
when I received the summon, I thought...
You thought it would be... Liselot.
My apologies.
You did well. Liselot thinks very highly of you.
Dankeschön, Your Majesty. If you hadn't graced us with your presence yesterday...
It is behind us. No need to speak of it again.
Your Majesty, there is one other thing.
Oh?
Artoria, the one at Sancta. I bumped into her and she mentioned my father. I would like to know if she had something to do with his death, if you would permit me.
We've been over this, Hochberg. The case of the Witch King's remains, stealing a copy of the Golden Nest Gesatz, has been closed.
No asking then.
Brunt, Your Majesty, you are here as well.
Have you come to see Cora? She is currently rehearsing the Golden Nest Gesatz. The delay caused by the Witch King's remains has us all worried about tomorrow's performance.
Rest assured, the movement is flawless at all times.
Cora said the same. How long have you gone without a break? Why not take a vacation after the celebration? You could go back to Sturmland together, not as a Reichsorster tuner and Gessel's watcher, but as Cora and Brunt. This is a reward, not a punishment. For mopping up the Witch King's remains, you and Viviana have done fine work. I've taken notice. And just remember that. Opportunity does not last forever. Some things must be said before it's too late.
Thank you, Your Majesty, for the reminder.
And another thing, I'll need at least 20 Gessel's Watcher for tomorrow's celebration.
What? Does Grimlock know about this?
Every year, das Kaiserinnenfest begins with Reichsorchester's performance of the Golden Nestgesatz and ends with my duet with Hildegard. I wonder, this year, will the people still appreciate our performance?
I have no doubt, Your Majesty.
Could I ask you a question, Brunt?
By all means.
Assume your most prized possession has a crack in it. Would you turn a blind eye to it, pretend you didn't notice?
Depending. Like, my phone has a crack in it, but I don't really care. It's a tiny little crack. I'm just like, eh.
It don't bother me too much.
You're going to leave Schullingsturm? Our tour is under control. I'll return to Laterano and report to His Holiness, the Pope. We will subsequently seek formal legal cooperation from Lithuanian. Alright, but I should remind you, tomorrow is das Kaiserinnenfest. Schullingsturm will be very lively. Young people from other regions, even other countries, will all join in the merrymaking. Correct. I had noticed an increase in foot traffic. And so I want to ask, her executor, won't you stay just one more day?
Aw, he wants to invite him to celebrate. That's cute.
Please explain why I do that. Artori has been apprehended. The copy of the Golden Nestgesatz has been recovered, and the Witch King's remains have been more or less wiped out. It seems like everything's all taken care of, but I can't shake this uneasy feeling. Grimlock says that I have a unique sense for danger. I mean, of course, it might just be my imagination. For matters pertaining to internal Lathanian affairs, I suggest you confer with your Empress. She's been too busy to see me today, so that's why you have time to escort me out of the city. I'd assume this was an official duty. A duty? No, it's not. It's not my duty to monitor you. And having come all this way to Schulingsturm, wouldn't you like to stay a bit longer? Make some new friends? See the sights? Friends and sights. Are you looking at that coffee shop?
I want some coffee too.
I could try the drink Loris recommended before I leave. Her Sancta! You are Yulia's brother, John. Do you work at this coffee shop? Yeah, I need to save money so I can study abroad when I'm ready. I thought I'd never see you again. I've heard that the executors of the Lateran Notarial Hall carry out the wills of Lateran citizens. Is that right? An acceptable summary. And you also solve cases? So long as it's part of a binding document, I'll do everything in my power to carry it out. Wunderbar! Loris left me the key before he died. He said there were clues about my sister's case in this house. But I'm not a detective after all, and wasn't sure who to give the key to.
Oh! A new case?
This is the residence of Loris Borden. This is a home in Schulingsturm. You've barely known Borden for an afternoon and he left you his entire house? What he left me are clues to the case. Look, the wall, the table, the drawers, everywhere. These are all clues regarding Julia Schuller, the girl who disappeared over 10 years ago. And a letter. Loris claimed to have accepted defeat, but actually, he never gave up on the case. I almost forgot that you're a case-solving machine. Even if they made you a Graf and granted you the tallest spire in Schulingsturmschaft, you'd hardly blink, would you? A false premise, that is. There is no precedent for a Lateran saint being conferred a title by another country. And what do you have to do with Lateran sainthood? Are you suggesting that you, her executor, bear the title of saint? Yes. Like the founders and the popes? I'm unclear what you mean by like in this context, but nominally yes. I may need to reevaluate our need to monitor you, her saint. You are an executor to an empress. I'd assumed you had some familiarity with my background. I thought I did too. Do not worry. Whether or not I hold the title of saint is not particularly relevant to my work in Lathanian. My executorial duty is to capture Artoria, as well as executing the wills of Lateran citizens. As the Artoria case is on temporary hold, fulfilling the will of Loris Borden is my next objective. Was that hesitation? I've never seen you hesitate before. I still have questions about that Artoria case. What questions? I need to think.
Federico looks at the piano to the side of the room. Like most Lathanians, Loris had musical instruments at his home. However, judging from the many files and folders on its bench, he did not play the piano often. Simply tap the black and white keys in a certain rhythm and a melody will be created. People have taken such immediate feedback for granted, yet there are still many questions that, once sprouted, are pushed away unanswered. Oh, cute! Next thumbnail, hey!
The piece you just played, is it the one from yesterday at Ludwig's Universität? Der Tag des Hexenkönigs. Artoria interpreted the emotions of Loris Borden and Brandt Reiner, as well as the others who witnessed the Witch King's demise. She turned their strongest feelings into notes, creating this piece. I want to know what she discovered in those emotions. The notes may be the same, but those feelings are so different. Her executor, are you and Artoria really related by blood? If misplaying an instrument were a crime, you might well be arrested as soon as you step out the door. I did not play a single note wrong. But there was no emotion whatsoever. You can't grasp music by memorizing its rules. You have to, picture the emotion it conveys. For example, Lors Borden, you have to become him. Imagine the night he charged into the Witch King's spire. Picture how he became a hero, how crestfallen he was by Yulia's case, and... when you're finally forced to doubt yourself and find yourself wavering, lost like me, you'll realize that you need a strength, a reason. And that's when you'll discover that the law offers no guidance. Why do barriers never cease to be? Is mankind doomed never to understand one another? The tiniest chaos is enough to shatter the order. The moment confusion envelops, people begin to hurt one another. Each era has its own trials and tribulations, for which we can only prepare to the best of our ability. It is certain, however, that you have been chosen because it believes that you have the ability to respond to the unknown. You are well aware that there is another beside yourself, very unique among the Sancta. Bring her back, if possible. I need to meet her face to face.
Fede, your whole life, you've been different. Different from all the others. Can you really not see everything I see in the music?
Thanks to Grimax, both my ears and my soul have been saved. A failed attempt, I take it. Let's not try that again. We have to acknowledge that some people simply lack the talent for music. Yes, I cannot empathize with Loris or anyone else, nor do I see the illusions created by the notes. But I do have realized that emotions are also information. What do you mean by that? As you said, Artoria's performances are completely different from mine. The notes arranged in order have no inherent meaning, but with added emotion, they become a piece of music beloved by you people. And so, I have come to understand that emotion is a kind of additional information. Artoria played her music, playing the hearts of Loris and the others to extract information from their powerful emotions that even they themselves could not retrieve. This is something only Artoria can do. Her objective has not yet been achieved, nor will she abandon it. There will be even greater chaos in the coming days here in Schullingsturm. Are you certain? I could spend time explaining the finer logic to you, but I assess that you will find it difficult to share my thought process. As such, I suggest you consider my conclusion a kind of intuition. Her executor. There's something you should see. She can help you.
Oh? Congratulations, you're about to be rid of me. What, I shouldn't say such things? What would you rather hear? Mockery, anger, curses? Or a seemingly invincible enemy pulled straight from a story begging for mercy before their departure from the stage? Don't forget, you wanted to see me. Whenever you have doubts, you unconsciously seek out my voice. You want to hear me deny you, and then, in denying me, you can win some silly comfort for yourself. It is not I who needs you. You need me. Bloodline of Erdica, Franz, Ebenholz, without me, what does your future hold?
It's done. What do you mean? What's done? I removed the voice of Mundane from your head. But nothing happened, is that it? It could never summon the Genesis Horn in the first place. It's like watching a crowd of people nervously gathering to light a fuse and blow Schullingsturm up, only to hear a soft plop, like a gloom pincer's depressing fart.
What a description!
Ah, yes, like a gloom pincer's depressing fart. But didn't you say the melody of the Witch King could open the door to the Genesis Horn? Yes, the right melody. Do you think you can open a locked door with an old key? Don't compare my research on her Kampfschorn with that pile of rubbish they stuffed into your brain. Those idiots and their infected bombing shouldn't manage a thing. Ha! The voice of Mundane. Do the people who come up with that stuff even know the difference between a proper creation and a belch? Was it Gerhard who filled your heads with all this? Would you mind if I dug him up and knocked him around a bit more? But they told me the voice of Mundane housed the Witch King's avatar. Avatar? Ha ha. Avatar. That'd be like me rolling my soul into a ball and tossing it into an an amphitheater beneath the spire for you stupid lambs to kick about. Do you really think that can be done? That's enough, boy. I'm in a bad mood, a positively rotten one. I thought by doing this one last favor for Grimlock, I'd be able to take my things and finally be rid of this wretched place. Who'd have thought those masked morons would make a fool of me? No, they made me a whole circus. I should have Ermengarde look me over, see if a lich's age has any effect on his brain. He said, the voice of mundane is just noise.
It's just mundane. Dang, who would have thought?
It is certainly a melody left by the Witch King, that's true. But Gerhard and his men misunderstood its power. It isn't the key to the Witch King's legacy. Then what about the voice in my head? I don't understand the arts behind it. The problem of the voice of mundane has been resolved. You may still suffer headaches and hallucinations, but I think they won't be so bad going forward. Just to be safe, you should try to stay here and rest a while, then leave Schulingstern after Das Kaiserinnenfest. So the voice is just my imagination then? All these years and all my struggles were just in my head? In the somewhat more figurative sense? Apparently I have nothing whatsoever to do with any grand plans of those lofty conspirators. And to speak of killing myself before I went mad. I've been mad for a long, long time. I don't have time to discuss this with you. Right. Your grandfather says that the rubbish in my head has tainted the research on her Kampfstorn. So why care about me, an inferior product, particularly after we've known that none of his powers lie within me? I can't summon a catastrophe cloud with a wave of my hand, nor can I cleave a spire with a swing of a sword. What do you want? The power is still there. Since you removed the voice of mundane, why not kill me? The voice of mundane is not the key, meaning I am of no use to twin empresses. Why not burn me and mine to ashes, like all the experiments of the Witch King era? Because there is no need, is that it? Then what about my brother? He died. He died because of a stupid plan, like, to borrow a phrase, like a Gloompincer's depressing fart. Such nonsense, such irony. He was grateful, you know, right up until he died. Grateful for our meeting. Grateful for the instructor who taught him the cello. But our meeting was exploited by Gertrude. The teacher he admired was mixed up with the Witch King's remains. Ha! And now you tell me the voice of mundane was all a wacky misunderstanding the entire time. So we lived, died, met, parted, all for what? Where's the meaning in any of it? Alright, if you want an answer, I'll tell you. You're right, there was no meaning to any of it. Set aside the Urtica name. Without the voice of mundane, you're nothing but a self-absorbed, self-harming, self-destructive, empty shell of pretty boy.
Okay. Good description. Accurate.
Perfect, you finally did it. Now take up your arts unit. Why not unwrap the bandages on your sword? That'll make this execution go even smoother. The man before me is unworthy of it. Even now, you just have to humiliate. Then fight back. Prove me wrong by your actions. Ugh. You loathe the bloodline of the Witch King. But have you ever sought out the victims of his persecution to make amends, to help them, to compensate them? You loathe the title of Graf Urtica. But have you ever looked into the safety of the commoners, taking note of the decline of your domain, caught between the twin empresses and the Witch King's remains? You lament being the only survivor, but you have not been cherishing the life ahead of you. Instead, you constantly throw yourself into danger. You say you're a prisoner of your spire, but who in the end has never looked beyond his cage at anyone else?
Lessing's sword moves so quickly that dodging is nearly impossible. He's rarely spoken so many words in one breath. At first, Evan Holes had no intention of dodging, but almost instinctively, the Originium dice float into the air. Arts pour out uncontrollably, like fiery rage.
Blood, title, duty. Everything was forced upon me by fate. I tried. I stood against it, and in the end, you tell me there was never any need to. Why? Why did I have to go through all this when I'm nobody at all?
Lessing's sword presses against Ebenholz's throat. The Originium dice fall to the side. The battle is over. The outcome is a surprise to no one.
Our fight against fate never belonged to any of us, and so why does the suffering we've endured even count for? I've never received a noble's education, and I don't throw around words like fate. I only know that all the suffering is real. I've seen street hawkers beaten by the gendarmerie in the alleyways. I've seen old men freeze to death on the roadside after losing their farmland to rural nobility. They'll never see the Witch King, the Twin Empresses, or a Kurfürsten in their entire life. They'll never have the time or energy to contemplate fate, suffering, or meaning. That's life in the shadow of the spires, for the great masses of Lithanian. No one can overcome an abstract concept. If you want revenge, choose a concrete target. The Witch King, the Twin Empresses, the still living remnants. We fight to survive, and we don't stop until our own blood, or that of our enemies, runs dry. Fight. The Witch King's legacy still exists, wherever it is. Enemies shrouded in darkness may find it at any moment, and use it to unleash suffering on the great masses once again. You can stay here in the spire and continue lamenting your fate, or you can challenge me again and die by my hand.
What do I make of this heart-to-heart? Well, Ebenholz needs to be told off, honestly.
Or you can join me in seeking the Witch King's legacy. Help me find the true culprit, who may still be alive in some form. Choose.
Ebenholz feels the sword against his throat, still wrapped in bandages. Were it not wrapped, he would have smelled blood. Of course, this does not mean that Lessing cannot kill him. The warrior's expression is cold, but his eyes burn with anger. Why is he angry? Why does he still have expectations for a man like him?
Would you kindly pass me my arts unit?
It's like, okay, fine, you're telling the truth. I know, I'm just a butthole.
Why aren't they here?
Frau Hausberg, what is it you're looking for?
Sketches. Frida Siemens' drawings. Since her, Reiner, and I left, has anyone else been in this room?
No suspicious individuals, my dame. After you and her guest watcher left, the Imperial casters carefully inspected the entire alley. After confirming no traces of the Witch King's remains and no dangerous witchcraft or items, they left. Are the drawings you're looking for involved in some important case?
A case? Viviana recalls Grimmack's words. The case of the Witch King's remains, stealing a copy of the Golden Nesgesatz, has been closed. No. It is merely personal. Frau Siemens' work is incredibly beautiful. It always evokes some marigold memories in me. Please don't alert the others, though. I don't want too many people to know I've been here.
Of course, rest assured, the Gendarmerie will never disclose your movements.
Aw, someone took the sketches. So lovely. Marigolds, sunlight, such beautiful things sent to inspire creativity and nurture emotion. No wonder so many Lithanian artists love this alley. Werner von Hochberg. He was obsessed with it until the day he died. Might you be Frau Giallo? Weren't you taken away by Grimmack's casters? I'm certainly not here, and you didn't really bump into your father back there either. This is all in your imagination. Is this also an effect of your arts? You're rather skilled in originium art yourself. What do you think? I haven't noticed anything unusual. People often misunderstand my arts. The truth is, I can't do very much at all. People are just ignorant of their own hearts. Or even if they do know, they're unwilling to face themselves. I told you the first time we met, my melodies resonate with the emotions deep inside the human heart. And once they ripple, they're hard to ignore. It's you who wants to change your father's fate. The one talking to you now, well, I'm afraid it's you yourself. Is that so? You yearn to know the case of your father's death. You fear that the conspiracy of the Witch King's remains is not yet through. You suspect that the farce performed at Ludwig's Universität was just a diversion. You wonder if perhaps the Kaiserin wants to kill the Kurfürst? 9. But you see, you can't hold back the birth of this thought. If your father were standing here, what would he do? My father. He wouldn't do anything. He would accept fate's plan and turn away. Even though he would go on to live with endless pain and regret. And so what about you? Would you do the same? He and I... Froggialo?
Do not mistake me for that distant relative of mine. There is no need for you to brandish your arts unit in my direction.
This whole area is encircled by Lithanian's finest gendarmerie. Who are you, Her Sancta?
I'm a mere executor. I work with Michael.
Michael's a good boy, I guess. I can trust you.
That went surprisingly well. At Michael's suggestion, I would like to provide a clue regarding Artoria.
What is it?
There is a high probability that she is planning an even more serious incident. Signora Viviana von Hochberg, it is my hope that we can cooperate and put a stop to her plans.
Team up! Oh, that is a good cliffhanger. I appreciate that cliffhanger. Now I'm just curious real quick. I'm just gonna see what I can farm. Okay, I can farm these thingies. And... not really interested in the... Okay, I'm a farm here. This is the one I'm gonna be farming tonight. In the background, I'm gonna be getting some more Ori Rock cubes. I need to go back to the mines, get some more gacha funds because... oh, this banner hurts me. Hurts me so much. But that was good progress. I shall continue the story tomorrow. Now, I might as well just make myself some instant noodles for dinner. Yeah, instant noodles sound fine. I can make myself something spicy to fuel my burning passion. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and epic gacha luck. Oh, Artoria, please let me summon you already. Gosh darn it, 164 summons in, she did not come home yet. But there's still hope in the world. I shall see you guys later. Bye bye.